Hello. In this video you will find the summary of Brazilian author José Mauro de Vasconcelos's unforgettable masterpiece, My Sweet Orange Tree. This classic tells in a heartfelt way the world, dreams and sorrows of a little boy, making it one of the most touching stories in literary history. Now let's step into Zézé's world together. My Sweet Orange Tree. Summary. Part 1. Zézé is a little boy living in one of the poorest neighborhoods of Brazil. He is only 5 years old, yet he has already seen the harsh face of life. His father is unemployed, his mother works long hours, and his siblings are too busy with their own struggles. The house is crowded, full of noise, but for Zézé, there is often nothing but loneliness. He is energetic, mischievous and curious. Neighbors look at him and say, "This boy will only bring trouble." His brothers and sisters often grow tired of his antics and treat him harshly. But behind all that mischief lies a deep hunger for love. Zézé desperately wants to be noticed, to be loved, to be understood. The one person who truly sees him is his older sister, Gloria. She understands that her little brother's mischief hides a fragile heart. She tries to protect him, to give him affection. In her arms, Zézé feels a bit of safety and comfort. Still, the lack of love at home leaves a mark on him. His father's harshness, his mother's exhaustion, and the family's poverty weigh heavily on the boy's heart. At school, his intelligence quickly becomes obvious. Despite his young age, he learns fast, memorizes songs, and plays with words, yet his talent often goes unnoticed, overshadowed by his misbehavior. Even his teachers struggle to understand him. One day, the family is forced to move into a cheaper house. For Zézé, this move changes everything. In the yard of the new home stands a small orange tree sapling. To others, it is just another plant, barely noticed. But to Zézé, it is special from the very beginning. He bonds with it instantly. He talks to it, shares his secrets, treats it like a friend. He gives it a name, My Sweet Orange Tree. To him, it isn't just a tree. It is a confidant, a playmate, a keeper of dreams. Whenever Zézé feels lonely, he runs to his tree, wraps his arms around it, and whispers his thoughts. The little sapling listens silently, never scolding, never judging. From that moment on, Zézé is not completely alone anymore. He has someone to lean on, even if that someone is only a tree. In his imagination, the sapling comes alive. Together they play, they talk, they share dreams. The bond between the boy and the tree becomes one of the most touching parts of the story. Still, life's harshness never disappears. At home, his father's hand is heavy, his mother is too tired to show affection, and his siblings are quick to lose patience. For Zézé, life is always a battle between two worlds, one filled with harsh reality, the other with dreams and innocence, and so the little boy carries both, his laughter and his tears, his mischief and his wisdom. He runs through the streets singing, invents games out of nothing, and turns even a tiny sapling into his closest companion. What makes him different is his ability to hold on to his imagination, even when life shows no mercy. Meeting Portugal and the bond of friendship. Zézé was a little boy growing up in poverty, surrounded by hardship and loneliness. His imagination was his greatest refuge, the place where he could escape the pain of everyday life. But one day, something unexpected happened. He found a real friend, Portugal. In the neighborhood there was a man everyone respected but also feared a little. His name was Manuel Valadares, but people simply called him Portuga because he was Portuguese. He was a serious man with a stern appearance. The children of the neighborhood usually avoided him. They found him intimidating. But Zézé was different. With his curious and fearless spirit, he dared to approach Portuga. Their first encounters were not easy. Zézé's mischief often got him into trouble, and Portuga knew well who this restless boy was. At first he kept his distance, but over time he began to notice something others didn't. Behind Zézé's wild energy lay a deep innocence. Portuga sensed the loneliness in the boy's heart, and perhaps he himself was also searching for something to fill an emptiness inside. Slowly, a unique bond began to grow between them. The first steps. For the first time, Zézé felt safe with an adult. Portuga didn't scold him, didn't dismiss him. He actually listened. The boy felt he had finally found the love he had been longing for. Portuga showed him kindness. He talked with him, gave him advice, and even played with him. They went on walks together. To Zézé, it felt as if he finally had a father figure, something his real father could never provide. Portuga gave with ease. Every moment spent with Portuga was precious to the boy. Sometimes the man would bring him small gifts, sometimes just his company, and for Zézé that was more than enough. For the first time in his life, an adult accepted him exactly as he was. A genuine friendship, the friendship between Portuga and Zézé, was unlike any ordinary relationship between a child and an adult. It was born out of mutual need. Zézé longed for love, while Portuga seemed to need a pure heart to share his own solitude with. During the days they spent together, Zézé experienced both the joy of childhood and lessons about life itself. Portuga taught him patience, kindness, and the value of looking at others with compassion. With him, the boy felt like he was truly growing. Now Zézé had two companions, the sweet orange tree that shared his dreams, and Portuga, the man who gave him real affection in the harsh world. Together, they filled the empty spaces of his young heart. Through the eyes of the neighborhood, people in the neighborhood noticed this unlikely bond. They were surprised to see the stern and reserved Portuga so close to a mischievous little boy, but soon it became clear that this friendship was changing Zézé. He was calmer, a little more at peace, and his mischievousness softened. The power of love. Portuga gave the boy more than gifts and laughter. He gave him a sense of safety he had never known. In Portuga's presence, Zézé felt what it was like to be truly cared for by an adult. It was as if the love he had been denied at home was finally being restored. But as life often does, it had other plans. This friendship, so pure and full of love, would also bring with it one of the greatest sorrows Zézé would ever face. Deepening friendship, love, and the inevitable loss. The bond between Zézé and Portuga grew stronger with each passing day. What began as simple curiosity and kindness soon became the most important part of their lives. Zézé was no longer alone. Alongside the sweet orange tree that held his dreams, he now had an adult who gave him real affection and warmth. The magic of small moments. Portuga taught Zézé to treasure the little things in life. Sometimes they would go for walks, sometimes they would just sit and talk. For Zézé, these talks were priceless. A kind word, a small gift, or even a gentle touch on the head, was enough to fill his heart with happiness. With Portuga, he felt valued for the first time. In his eyes, the boy saw recognition, someone who truly noticed and understood him. That's why Zézé began to open up, sharing secrets he once whispered only to his orange tree. Now Portuga became the keeper of his dreams too, a father figure. Zézé had a father, but not the love of one. His real father, worn down by poverty and frustration, was distant and harsh. The more Zézé longed for his affection, the more he was disappointed. It was Portuga who stepped into that empty space. He didn't raise his voice at the boy. Instead, he listened with patience, taught with gentleness, and stood by him when needed. In Portuga's arms, Zézé felt for the very first time what fatherly love was like. For a child who had long been starving for affection, this was the greatest gift, the transformative power of friendship. Zézé himself began to change. The boy who once caused trouble just to be noticed grew calmer. The love and attention he had always longed for were finally his. Even the neighbors could see it. They were surprised that the stern Portuga had such a soft spot for a mischievous boy, but no one could deny the change. This friendship transformed Portuga as well. The lonely, reserved man discovered a new purpose in life. The love of a child softened his heart, filling it with a warmth he had missed for years. The inevitable loss. But life rarely allows happiness to last forever. One day, tragedy struck. Portuga was killed in a car accident. The news shattered Zézé's world. He had known pain before, but never like this. To him, Portuga wasn't just a friend. He was a father, a confidant, a teacher, and now he was gone. Zézé wept for days, unable to accept it. He cried out in disbelief, struggling with a sorrow too heavy for such a small child. Those around him couldn't fully understand, because no one else knew just how much Portuga had meant to him. The mark left on his heart. Portuga's death became a turning point in Zézé's life. From that day forward, a part of his childhood innocence was gone. A wound opened in his heart, one that would never truly heal. Yet in this pain, he also learned the most powerful lesson of love. To love is to risk loss. Even when he returned to his sweet orange tree, it was no longer the same. The sapling was still his companion, but the joy had faded. Without Portuga, there was an emptiness nothing could fill. My sweet orange tree, themes and messages. My sweet orange tree is not just the story of a little boy. It is also filled with universal themes that speak directly to the human heart. Through Zézé's life, José Mauro de Vasconcelos delivers powerful messages that remain timeless. 1. Childhood and innocence. Zézé's story reveals the purity and innocence of childhood. He is mischievous, curious, and full of endless questions, but beneath his misbehavior lies a simple desire, the need to be loved and understood. The novel reminds us that the most essential thing a child needs is unconditional love. 2. Poverty and struggle. The novel is set in one of Brazil's poorest neighborhoods. Families face constant struggles, unemployment, hunger, and despair. Poverty shapes Zézé's daily life, and through his eyes we witness not just one child's pain, but also the broader injustice within society. 3. Love and friendship. The sweet orange tree and Portuga are Zézé's two most important companions. One exists in his world of imagination, the other in reality. Together they show how love and friendship can transform a life. Through Portiga, Zézé experiences unconditional love for the very first time, and it changes him deeply. 4. The father-son bond. The novel also reflects on the role of the father figure. Zézé's real father is distant, harsh, and often unloving, but Portiga fills that void. The story highlights how vital fatherly affection is for a child's emotional world. 5. Loss and growing up. Portiga's death becomes the greatest turning point in Zézé's life. This loss abruptly ends his childhood innocence. He learns love, but he also learns grief. The novel reminds us that part of growing up often means losing a piece of our innocence. 6. Hope and imagination. Despite everything, Zézé holds on to his imagination. His conversations with the sweet orange tree symbolize his resilience and hope. Even in the face of poverty, abuse, and loss, he survives through his dreams. This is one of the novel's strongest messages. No matter how hard life becomes, imagination and hope can keep us alive. Its place in literature. My Sweet Orange Tree is not only a cornerstone of Brazilian literature, but also one of the most touching works in world literature. With autobiographical elements woven into the story, the novel crosses cultural boundaries and speaks to readers everywhere. Childhood, love, loss and hope are themes that belong to all of us. My Sweet Orange Tree. Conclusion and closing. My Sweet Orange Tree tells life through the eyes of a little boy, yet it delivers a story that resonates with all of us. Zézé's mischief, his vivid imagination, his search for love, and ultimately his experience of loss touch the deepest corners of the human heart. What makes this novel so special is not just that it portrays the childhood of a poor boy in Brazil. Its true power lies in the universal themes it carries: love, friendship, hope and loss, experiences that every human being encounters in some form throughout life. Zézé's bond with the sweet orange tree symbolizes the strength of imagination. His friendship with Portiga shows how love and kindness can transform a child's life. At the same time, his story reminds us that loss is an inevitable part of growing up. The novel leaves us with a simple yet powerful message. For a child, the greatest need is to be seen and understood with love. And at some point in our lives, each of us has been like Zézé, fragile, innocent, and longing for affection. In the world of literature, My Sweet Orange Tree stands as part of the shared heritage of not only Brazil, but of the entire world. José Mauro de Vasconcelos, drawing from his own childhood, created an unforgettable masterpiece. The reason it continues to reach millions of readers today is clear. This story transcends time and place, speaking directly to every heart. And that is why the My Sweet Orange Tree summary is not just a retelling of a book. It is a life lesson, a reminder of the essence of being human. We've just shared the touching story of Zézé. If you'd like to see more summaries of classic books like this, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and follow us. See you in the next video.